And I suppose really the next question would be kind of like a discussion among ourselves, really, as to how has COVID-19 impacted the learning environment?
Well, people more anxious about being in groups.
Yeah.
And um,
And I suppose it has definitely changed the way we have been teaching. It's actually changed the way our working environment as well. Going forward, you know, we turn to online training and we kind of are trying to keep it implemented or in place, think on their feet as to how they could still teach. And when the schools closed down then as well, they kind of went on Microsoft Teams. And then I suppose the parents didn't really have the skills to use Microsoft Teams. It was the child teaching the parents. So I suppose people have gained a lot of skills where they wouldn't have had before.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, and COVID-19, I suppose, it has impacted the learning environment. And as Sinead has said earlier, we're thinking about ways that you can learn now since COVID.
Well, the positive is definitely that there's more people now doing online learning. So there's lots more different types of courses and stuff that are now implementing the online learning, which is fantastic, in my opinion, because it does help with people, for instance, trying to travel and stuff to an actual college. You don't actually have to go, let's say, to Dublin if you're living in Cork. You can just jump on your computer.
Yeah, so I'd say you're identifying the need for training skills in order to, whether it's if you're a trainer, given the training, it's actually being the learner, and you actually do need skills to train online.
Yeah, that's definitely something that would be great if somebody helped people learn how to actually use maybe computers if they're a bit confused, or yeah, that'd be fantastic, yeah.
Or even a standard procedure to follow would be very good. So as a group, we're going to try to discuss different approaches to delivering training in online and hybrid learning environments. So this question, I suppose, really is just identifying the methods we'd use as a trainer in an online environment or a hybrid learning environment. And Sinead, if you have any ideas, you can throw them in here as well. An online class or a hybrid learning environment as a trainer to make it a bit more satisfying for a learner.
It might be a good idea to have a questions and answers session where you can find out what your learners are worried about or maybe missed out on your presentation earlier or previously, that they could ask you questions, and question and answer session. And maybe you could have quizzes then for you to find out also what they know or what they might be missing out on.
Think about, because you think they automatically come to you with questions, but a trainer should have within their online or hybrid classes that might help the learner that maybe the trainer's not identifying on in their classrooms.
I'd say it's hard to do this, but try and have a little bit of time where you're available for the learners. So we'll say when you're online with the learners, maybe have a half an hour at the end, just to take any of those questions Regina was talking about, or that definitely helped with us anyway when we were doing ours.
Yeah, to maybe like spend some time one-on-one as well, if you could allow for that, if somebody's struggling as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Would you find that easy to use, or would you were given a demonstration of how to use it before you actually began your course?
I wasn't given a demonstration on how to use it, but I didn't find it that difficult to use. I would consider myself pretty computer illiterate anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I suppose, yeah, it would be a bit confusing for, as I said again, sorry now if I'm overusing this, but an older person might find it more difficult, because I remember when I was in actual college and we used to be using Moodle in the college, the older ladies used to be coming over and asking you like, oh, how do you do this? Do you know how to do that? Because they
Yeah.
really found it hard to navigate. So yeah, I suppose it can be confusing for people who just
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be really familiar now with a learning management system. Would you think there'd be a need for it in a training company like your Moodle or?
Well, I think it's really, myself personally, for a small company, it isn't necessary. But maybe,
Yeah,
for the likes of an IT college or the bigger colleges where you have bigger amounts of students, it
yeah,
might be handy then, because each person can log in and, as you say, find out the course content and what they're to do for their assessments. And whereas in a smaller company, I'd imagine it's expensive having a system like that.
yeah.
And I'd imagine you'd need a person, an IT person, to keep it working properly. And like the trainers would need training on how to upload things and have things there for their students. And also, I reckon there would be a privacy problem as well. Like you'd have to have it secure. If you had students uploading their assessments to it, you'd want to know that other students can't access them.
But I think definitely as a trainer, to create an inclusive learning environment, I think like the way forward would definitely be a hybrid or an online learning environment. You know,
yeah.
I think online as well, people like companies that want to keep it to a small number of people